Hi YouTube! So today I am refilming a video that I recently deleted from my account due to a comment that said I was inaccurate in my book review, so I've decided to refilm it and checked my facts to make sure that it was all 100% correct. I wanted to point out that in the video I stated that this book was based on Downton Abbey, and I should have clearly stated that the author takes inspiration from Downton Abbey, although this particular book is not actually set during the Downton Abbey era. So now that that's out of the way, the book that I am talking about is Lady of Milkweed Manor by Julie Klassen, and if you've watched my previous videos you guys will know that Julie Klassen is my absolute favourite author. She is a Christian author who writes based on Jane Eyre, Jane Austen, and like I said, she also takes some inspiration from Downton Abbey. She's recently written her first series, and I believe the second book is coming out soon, or it's already been released. I'm not 100% sure on that, but she's written a series set in a town called Ivy Hill, or a village called Ivy Hill, and it's very exciting. So I'm going to jump into the book review of this book. Before this video gets too long, I have written some notes here, you can see, so that I can make sure that everything in here is 100% accurate to the best of my ability, because I have read this a couple months ago, so I kind of went off with what I could actually remember of this book. And of course I deleted the other video, so I couldn't look back and see what I said then, so my views might have changed since then. But anyway, the book is quite a nice size. There's around 405 pages of the actual reading side of it, and this copy that I have here actually includes discussion questions in the back, so there are 2 pages of that, and then of course the author's note and stuff like that, so it's in total quite a long book. But anyway, so to start off with, this book it follows a vicar's daughter called Charlotte Lamb, and she basically finds herself in this difficult situation, and she's holding this secret which you don't know about like right at the start. The author sort of alludes to it a little bit, but it's not 100% clear. So basically the secret that she's holding is something that will bring a lot of shame to her and her father if it comes out. So she makes a difficult choice and decides to hide herself away, and she takes up a place at Milkweed Manor, which essentially is a place for unwed mothers, and it's kind of this really interesting place. So she goes and she hides away there, and eventually she is faced with a difficult decision, and she takes up a position at a house there as a wet nurse for a guy called Dr. Taylor, who actually works at Milkweed Manor, and he helps the girls there to give birth and helps them to kind of like recover afterwards. And so she is a wet nurse for him, and she has to look after his baby because the mother supposedly died. And basically this house, she later discovers, holds a lot of secrets, because at night she hears lots of wailing and screaming, and it's sort of like, oh no, it's because there's young girls there having babies, so that must be what it is. But yeah, so this book is sort of, it's like a mystery, romance, drama. You've got a little bit of everything in there, which is really quite cool. So basically we'll now launch into like everything else once I kind of now that I've kind of covered like what it's about. So my favourite character in the book was Charlotte Lamb. Just like, maybe it's biased because she's the main character, but she just seemed like the only character that I could really relate to. I really did like Dr. Taylor, although some of the things that he did kind of really annoyed me, and just made him seem like a really bad person, but he probably wasn't. Maybe it was just the way that she wrote him, or the way that I kind of like read him, I don't know. But just like his secrets and stuff, it just sort of seemed like, okay, like why is he trying to like hide this, and that's why I sort of thought he was a bad person, but I did kind of like him as well. So Julie Klassen, I think, is just like amazing, obviously. She had a really good way of writing this book. It's obviously something that was quite scandalous back in that time. So I thought that her characters were really well developed. You knew exactly who was who and what their role was in the book, and there was never a time where I felt myself having to actually go back and go, oh, hang on, she's mentioned this character before, where are they and who are they? So it was really easy to follow, and you can just kind of keep going forward. You don't have to like look back at all. The story, like I said, is kind of based around Jane Austen era, with the style of dress and everything like that, the way that people were speaking, and then the mystery element sort of hints at like a Jane Eyre inspiration. So you can kind of see where the story's going without me trying not to give away too much of it. So she gets a lot of inspiration from them, obviously, so I think that it was probably quite fitting that she wrote a story based on that. So this book definitely it's got an element of mystery, and it really does keep you guessing right until the big reveal, which is really, really cool. So I'm obviously like one of those people that is like, you know, I'll see a book, if I like the cover, I'll turn it over and I'll read the back. And if I like the back, then I'll read it. So because I'm that kind of person, I like it if the back of the book doesn't give away too much. Some books just give away like the whole story and you just feel like there's no much point in reading it. But this one didn't do that, which I thought was really cool. So it was nice to have still have like a big surprise in the book. Because obviously there is an element of mystery. So it was kind of hard to pick like a favourite part in the book, because it's kind of a sad topic. There's obviously some like romantic bits and not really funny, but there are some sort of like light-hearted moments as well. But so I can't really say that there's like a favourite part, because I really like the whole book, really. I just thought it was a really good read, and it's really fast. Like, you can read through it really quickly. The one part that I did like, and I'm not going to like go into too much detail about it because it is kind of a spoiler, but there's points throughout the book where Charlotte is talking about someone called Edmund, and just the way that she's got this love for Edmund, and the way that she like, you know, sits and she like thinks about them and everything. It's really quite sweet, just the way that Julie Klassen's words sort of brought out her feelings around this person. She had a lot of emotions in this book, and I thought that she brought them out really well. You knew exactly when you were reading a certain paragraph, you knew exactly how to be feeling in that moment, and you know, it just sort of, there's parts where you wanted to cry, and parts that kind of gave you a little smile, and all of the emotions in there were just captured so wonderfully that you knew exactly what sort of emotion she was trying to get out of the reader, and it's just, I think it's just her way with words that she does it so brilliantly. She's really talented, and I'm obsessed with her books, obviously. So the relationship between Charlotte and her father was a bit broken because of the secret that she has, and that was really sad. So, you know, obviously that was kind of a heartbreaking thing to read about. Not something that I can relate to, but she still kind of captured that emotion there, that there was some strain in their relationship, and then how Dr. Taylor was coping with his big secret. He was that was also sort of like, okay, like how do I feel about this? So yeah, so all in all, this is basically, it's a book that honestly, it's one that you can't really put down, that you'll struggle to put down. It really captures your attention, and you just want to keep reading and reading. You will probably stay up like all night to try and read it, or if you can manage to read it in a day, like even better. But yeah, it's hard to put down, and I think it's good if you can find a book that is like that, because you don't want a book that you want to put down because you're like, oh my gosh, this is just so boring, I really don't like this. And if you have to stop after like the first few chapters, then like there's not really much point. But yeah, so basically, you know, you'll be sitting there making a promise to yourself, like, I'm just going to read one more chapter, and then you actually end up reading like another 4, and that's pretty much what this book is like. So yeah, all in all, I would give this a 5 out of 5, obviously, because I just like love her books so much, and I think her writing is really easy. And she's also one of those people that, although she is a Christian author, it might not bother some people, but she's not sort of like, it's not sort of all religion, and it's not being pushed down your throat like, oh, you know, religion. Although she does sort of, there is some religious aspect to it. But yeah, it's a really great book. I would highly recommend that you read this book and that you pick up her other books. I'd love to do some more reviews on her other books, because I have read some of them. Some of them I don't actually own, and I would like to change that in the future, save up and just kind of get that. But I currently don't have a bookcase that is big enough to hold all of these books, so that might need to wait a little bit. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'm hoping that everything made sense and that it wasn't too rambly, and that hopefully I covered like all the facts and it was all accurate enough. If you guys have read this book or read any other of her books, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear what your thoughts were on this book or any of her other books. And I'd also love to have any other recommendations for book reviews that you guys would like me to do, either of Julie Klassen or anything else. I might not own the book, but I can certainly try and find a way to get my hands on it, and do a review on it. Hope you guys are all having a great day or night, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.